backstabbing snakes is what yous are. And then Misty. Oh, I need to get myself a new chair for my room. I need a chair and I need a bookcase for all my books. Okay, let's talk about a book. Let's talk about... I dropped it. The Guilty Friend by Joanne Sefton. I just read this book on Sunday. Or I read most of it on Sunday, I should say. I filmed a reading vlog. Why don't you check it out? I'll leave a link down below. Oh, I'm getting very good at this booktube stuff, I think I gave this book a 3-star because it's okay. It wasn't what I was expecting, but it was okay. And I shall read the back to you so that you can make your own mind up. Also the front, that little 3 close friends, one of them is dead, one of them is lying. I said that so fast. Totally gave me like Pretty Little Liars vibes. What was the theme song?
I got a secret, can you keep it? Swear this one you'll say. Better lock it in your pocket, taking this one to the grave. If I show you, then I know you won't tell what I said. Cause two can't keep a secret if one of them is dead.
It just gave me Pretty Little Liars vibes. Just think of that song. Can Karen keep her secrets hidden? Or will her guilt tear an innocent family apart? Alex, Karen and Misty were an inseparable trio at university, but when Alex died suddenly, the remaining 2 friends could no longer look each other in the eye, knowing they both had a part to play in her death. 30 years later, Misty and Karen have long since moved on with their lives, but when Karen thinks she sees her former friend alive, she soon becomes obsessed with a past she thought she'd left behind. Before long, the perfect life she's built for herself starts to unravel, and it seems as though history might just be repeating itself. Okay, so the reason I give this book 3 stars, I will put, to be honest, this is probably gonna, because this is a little bit of a rant review, this is probably gonna be some spoilers throughout. I'll try not to spoil the plot for you, but it's gonna be kind of hard because I kind of want to talk about what happened in the book compared to what I thought was gonna happen. And that's just going off the back of the book. I absolutely hate it when I read the back of a book and I forgot what that word is, synopsis makes me think a certain way, and then throughout the journey of reading it you're kind of waiting for something to happen. I was just waiting for all this to kind of happen because I had this idea in my head of what was going to happen and it didn't happen. I thought, judging by the sound of it, that something happens to Alex. Alex is dead, obviously. And I thought when it said about like her friends playing a part in her death, my mind instantly went to murder, or at least maybe manslaughter, like an accidental death, or something happened, and either way I assumed Alex was dead and her 2 friends were responsible. That wasn't really the case. We get chapters told from Misty, Karen, young Misty, and Karen's daughter Tasha, and that's nice. I love a different perspective book. It's great. The story was told in 3rd person, which I prefer even more. I prefer writing in 3rd person, so I also enjoy reading in 3rd person. It revolved more around Karen, more so than Misty. It was a lot of Karen chapters and then the occasional Tasha chapter, and then you got Misty thrown into it. So let me just break down the blurb, the synopsis, okay? It says that the 3 of them were an inseparable trio at university. Honestly, no. Inseparable trio is Harry, Ron and Hermione, okay? That's an inseparable trio. Best friends forever. Karen and Misty, by the sounds of it, by the way that the chapters played out, it just felt like they had nothing in common. They didn't even seem to like each other. Their only common interest was Alex. They were both friends with Alex. And I feel like, do groups actually exist like that, where you're more friends with one person but you tolerate the other person? I feel like people have mixed friendship groups for a reason, and I definitely feel like Alex should have been friends with Karen and also friends with Misty and done things separately. Separately. Like, I don't tend to always mix my friends. I do sometimes, like if it's a birthday or something, but there's a reason you have friend groups separate. I couldn't imagine it's one thing to maybe have one social occasion where you mix with someone else's other friends, and that's great. I've seen where I've been out with some of my friends, their friends, and you meet them and you maybe get on with them, you maybe think, oh, they're a nice girl, and then that's the end of it. You don't really speak to each other or anything like that. So I feel like Karen and Misty did not hang out at all, just the two of them. Anytime they spoke, they were very bitter towards each other, and it was like, what the hell? That is not an inseparable trio. That is one person in the middle with two friends on the outside. So, inseparable trio, my ass. When Alex died, suddenly the remaining two friends could no longer look each other in the eye. I mean, they barely looked each other in the eye to begin with. I know Misty blamed Alex, but also blamed herself, because Alex is anorexic. And at some point, Karen, the biggest bitch ever, sorry, but I don't like her now. I liked her to begin with. I was like, this is just a nice girl, nice woman, I should say, because she's about 50 by the time the present day chapters take place. So basically, Alex is anorexic, and she's been to see doctors and that. She kind of has overcome it, you may say, or she's getting better and she's eating more. Karen, her friend, all part of the inseparable trio, suddenly gets a kick out of taking digs at Alex, making little snide comments as if to say, like, there was a moment where they were wearing nice dresses, they were going to some sort of party, and they're all wearing lovely big fancy dresses, and Karen made a comment to Alex saying something that, is it a bit, oh no, never mind, no, it's just the light. I thought it looked a little bit stretched on you, but no, it was just a trick of the light. And I was like, oh, this bitch. I thought, oh my god, Karen, what the F, Karen, what? You are no friend of Alex's that you keep making these little snide digs at her. Someone who has suffered with anorexia, has been hospitalized because of it, and now you're getting a kick, you're feeling power over her, and it's not like Alex was a bitch. Alex was like popular, she's pretty, she's smart, all the boys love her, all the girls want to be her or be friends with her. You know the characters. She's a lovely girl, she's lovely to her friends. She's not like a Regina George type mean girl who's really bitchy to her friends, and Karen suddenly figured out a way to get like one up on her. This ain't the case. Alex is a lovely girl and did not deserve that, to be treated that way by her friend. And you didn't realise this until a good chunk of the way through the book, that Karen suddenly treated Alex that way, and I was like, I liked you, Karen, I liked you, but you're such a Karen. How could you do that to your friend? Inseparable trio? Backstabbing snakes is what yous are. And then Misty. Misty then had an affair with Alex's dad. Did you hear me over all that clapping? Misty ends up having an affair with Alex's dad, her father, the man who gave her life. What friend does that to a friend? All my friends' dads are just dads. I look at them, I just see like an older middle-aged man. I do not see a new boo. And then she goes, and then at one point Alex finds out that her dad is in love with some woman, and Misty's kind of like, oh my god, I think it's me. And Alex is kind of talking about it and saying how she's worried that her dad's gonna split from her mom. And Misty's sitting there like, oh my god, I can't believe it, we're gonna be together. And it's like, she doesn't think for a moment how Alex is gonna feel. Like, that is your friend, that is your best friend, and you're having it off with her dad, and now you're planning your, oh, it's a bird. And now you're planning your life with her dad. You're gonna be her new stepmom? You're gonna be the stepmom of your best friend? Inseparable trio? Where? Where's the inseparable trio? I want to know. Harry and Hermione would not do this. Could you imagine Harry getting together with Molly Weasley and splitting up the family? No. I don't know why I'm using that as an example, but that's the first trio I could think of. Before long, the perfect life she's built for herself starts to unravel. It seems as though history might just be repeating herself. So Karen sees an image of a girl on the news and she thinks, oh my god, that is the spitting image of what Alex would look like now. She looks like Alex, but obviously she looks like what Alex would look like now when she's kind of like matured a bit. And so that's great, and she becomes obsessed with the idea that Alex is still alive. That happens in the very first chapter. We get a Karen chapter, and then I think we get Misty's chapter, and she sees the same thing. She's like, wow, it looks like Alex. But Misty just dismisses the image and thinks, oh wow, it's just someone that really looks like her. Whereas Karen is convinced that Alex is still alive. And then she meets up with Alex's ex-boyfriend from back in the day. That man, that poor boy. This is the most loyal man I've ever met in my life. He is in love with a ghost. He is in love with Alex, and he's never settled down. He's rich. He got that coin, but will he settle down? No, because his one true love was Alex. Then he tells Karen how Alex's parents wouldn't let him say goodbye to Alex, wouldn't let him see the body. I'm saying say goodbye to the body, I mean, because by the time that he gets to the house, it's like she died. But Andrews basically says that he never got to see her body. It was a closed casket at the funeral. And that just fuels the fire in Karen, and she thinks, oh my god, Alex is still alive. We never saw a body. And at that point, I was like, ooh, there's some mysterious tea going on here. Maybe I just couldn't work it out. I was like, I think by that point, I forgot what was on the back of the book. But then, like, reading over it, it's like, sometimes, like, synopsis, if they just have absolutely nothing to do with what happens in the book, it does my head in. I hate that. You buy a book based on what it says in the back, and if it doesn't come true, it's like... And then can Karen keep her secrets hidden? What was her secret? Just that she basically bullied Alex? I wouldn't really call it a secret. We all knew. Misty knew. Misty was there and saw it. Misty should have clamped down on that. Alex should have realised that her friends were not healthy for her as well. Poor Alex. Alex is the real victim of this book. Not Karen, not Misty, just Alex. Okay, so because of Alex and her anorexia, Misty, who was studying medicine at the university they were all studying at, the other two I think were doing like English or something. I really don't know what the two were doing. Alex and Karen were doing the same thing. Misty was doing something different. Misty was to do with medicine, and she decided to work with anorexic people, or she decided to work in the eating disorder line, department. So that's what Misty does. Karen does not do anything. She had her husband who died. She's now living in a nice big house, but all the money's kind of starting to run out. So that was that. She kept going on about the threat of losing the house, not being able to afford this or that. Then nothing really happened with that. And then we have Karen's 15-year-old daughter, Tasha, who is now suffering from an eating disorder. And that just came out of the blue. We had a few chapters from Tasha's perspective. I kind of want to go back to the beginning of the book to read those chapters to see if it was hinted at then, because I thought it just mentioned her. And then she got pranked by some girls, and then she got a boyfriend, and then she started hanging around with the mean girls that pranked her. And I hate when authors do that. I really hate that when they show that like these girls basically leave their friend groups that they have to go hang out with the popular people because the popular people have invited them to sit with them, and it's like, does that happen? Did that happen in school? That never happened to me in school. I mean, there was no popular people in my school. Everybody was just there doing their own thing. It was all groups of friends. Nobody ever started dating someone and then all of a sudden they were like, hey, you're cool, come sit with us. This ain't Mean Girls. Like, what? That bugs me when that happens in these kind of books. It's like, did you go to high school? You didn't go to my high school. This didn't happen in my high school. But she basically patches her friends to go and be friends with the mean girls. So, alright, but now she's suddenly starving herself. And I know that there doesn't always need to be a catalyst that suddenly makes someone do this, but it definitely did just come out of the blue. If maybe the characters had joked about her weight, or someone had made fun of her, or somebody had said something to her and that kind of triggered her, or she was bullied, I don't think there was anything mentioned in the book that suddenly triggered it. But all of a sudden we just went from having these couple of chapters with this girl, she's a teenager, she's in school, she's now got a boyfriend, to suddenly she's starving herself. And I was like, that was a massive U-turn. What happened? Why are you doing this, Tasha? What happened? Oh my god, my group chat is kicking off and I want to read it, but I can't because I'm filming. And Tasha dramatically starves herself. Eating is cheating and all that kind of stuff, and it was like, I don't know, this just, I feel like anorexia is horrific for people to go through, and to anybody that has suffered with an eating disorder, is still suffering with an eating disorder, I really hope you get help. I really hope you overcome it. It's awful. It's an awful thing to go through, and I completely sympathise with anybody that is going through it. Had I known maybe that anorexia was like the, what I'll call the killer in this book, that it was a major point in it, I maybe might not have read it. It's not something you really like to read about. It's awful. I remember reading a young adult, not even young adult, it would be a kid's book, or for like young teens, pre-teens or whatever, and it was all about like anorexia, and I was a lot younger then reading about it, and it just made me so angry. I was like, oh my god, you're skin and bone, eat, eat, eat. But it's one of those things, I feel like, unless you're going through it yourself, you can't comprehend how that feels like. I do wish there maybe was a bit of a kind of trigger warning. It kind of makes you think like maybe books should have trigger warnings at the start of them. Like, imagine reading this thinking this is like just a little thriller mystery, and it's not. It's quite dark. It's about anorexia, and it could trigger you. I'm not easily triggered, but I feel like maybe a warning would have been nice. But oh well. It was quite sad, and then the mum, Karen, just was not picking up on it, and I feel like it mentioned the older daughter of Karen's, called Evie, who's at university, noticed it over Christmas and then noticed it at Karen's birthday, and she basically comes home and stages an intervention for Tasha because she's worried about her. She's skin and bone, she looks ill, she's pale, she's like a skeleton, and it's saying like Karen says, oh, it's just a face, she's okay. And I was like, what? Look after your kids, look at your daughter. I know they say like because Misty worked in this line with eating disorders, she made a lot of comments about different things that girls and boys would do to disguise the fact they had an eating disorder, wearing like baggy shirts, and that's like fair enough, but in no way does it kind of always, like, she's in bed most of the time, and it's like, she's in bed most of the time because she has no energy, and Karen's not noticing there's something wrong with her daughter. I feel like mums are the first to know. My mum would know this if I spent most of my time in bed and I wasn't eating. Karen, she was the worst friend in the world, and she was the worst mother in the world. Just putting that out there. She had 3 daughters. She had Evie, who was like 21, Tasha was 15, and then there was Callie. I'm not sure how old Callie was. I spent most of this book, I'd already read the first 50 pages, and then on Sunday I just finished it all. I was waiting for something to happen. A lot of the chapters were just kind of, this is what Tasha's doing, this is what Tasha's doing, this is what Misty's doing, this is what Karen's doing. Karen, who keeps meeting up with Andrew, she thinks Alex is still alive. Then we got the flashback episodes, then we got the flashback chapters kind of talking about different things and blah 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 and all the different things that was happening, and I was like just waiting, like, well, what's the tea? Is Alex still alive? Is Tasha gonna overcome this? Is Tasha gonna die? Where are we going? And then it did finally all kind of come to a head. Evie got in contact with Misty. Misty removes Tasha from the home and takes her to a clinic, whatever it's called, police, what's that word called? I forgot already, to help her overcome her anorexia. But of course she does not want to overcome it. She is determined. She's not overcoming it. She essentially wants to die from it. Like, that's the way it kind of hinted it. The way she kind of spoke, it literally sounded like she wanted to starve herself to the point that she was skin and bone, and then be like Alex and die from it. And I was like, that's your end goal? You're gonna starve yourself until you literally die? Alright, Karen, look after your kids. There really wasn't a lot of excitement to this book. I was just constantly waiting for something to happen, and it didn't really. It was just kind of plodding along, just kind of telling you this is what happened in the past, this is what's happening now, and I was just waiting for something to happen. It definitely did make me think that it was a thriller. Just from the back of the book alone, I just thought, ooh, 3 close friends, one of them is dead, one of them is lying. What was the lie? What was the lie? Was it because Misty kept it a secret that she slept with Alex's dad? Was that the lie? It wasn't even that big of a lie. Like, it's not really a big of a deal now, because it wasn't like Alex knew. Or did she? I feel like, I don't know. I just feel like, in my opinion, it made me feel like one of the friends really had something to do with her death, in the sense of they killed her. But yeah, I'm not really going to talk about how it went in the ending. I don't really want to spoil the book in case anybody does want to read it, but I will just say that I was very disappointed that it ended up going a different route than I thought it would. But it was still not too bad a book. It definitely highlights the atrocities that are eating disorders, and it was sad. It was sad. And by the end of it, I feel like I was devastated for Alex dying. I didn't like Karen. Misty, I didn't mind Misty. I didn't like the fact that she slept with Alex's dad. That was just that was just weird. What are you doing? What were you doing, Misty? I don't know. Would I recommend it? Yeah. Trigger warning though. Trigger warning to anybody who wants to read this. So that was definitely unexpected going down that route. Different. Definitely highlights the issue. Oh, I will just say one thing. At the end, the whole book takes place in 2019. There is no dates, so to speak. Like, so this is how the chapter starts. So you've got chapter 1, it's Karen, and it says 2019. So I was like, okay, the book's set in 2019. I think it was wrote in 2019. It was maybe wrote in 2020. No, I can't have wrote in 2020. Yeah, it was 2019. So it started in 2019. I don't mind when books don't have like times or dates logged at the top. Like this just said 2019. And it needed to say 2019 because then when we got chapters from the past, it said, let me find it. It was like this. It was like Misty. And it said 1988 for chapters that were in the past when Alex was still alive. So you only really needed the 2019 versus like 1988 to let you know when it was past and when it was present. So I didn't get mixed up with that. I don't normally get mixed up between time hops like that. However, time in this book kind of just kept moving and it was hard to follow because one minute it was like this was happening, that was happening, you'd go to the next chapter and it'd be like 2 months in the future and I didn't realise. Like that's why I think with me, Tasha's eating disorder felt like it happened instantaneously. Instantaneously? Is that a word? It just felt like it happened instantly. But it really wasn't. It was months. It was just that we didn't get to see the in between these months. It went from like, we first got a mention of it by Misty when she's at Karen's 50th birthday party. And that's around about Easter. And she kind of notices that Tasha is skinny. And they're like time hops forward at some point, but they don't really tell us. It doesn't really tell us like, oh, in the coming months this happened, that happened, fast forward to whatever. So time was kind of hard to keep track of because it just kept jumping around and I was like, ooh, well, how long has passed? And then at the end of the book, the epilogue is in the past, but the kind of chapter before the epilogue is 2020. So I was like, okay, it's 2020, a little bit of time's passed here, not too drastic, alright. But then the book makes a comment about like, as if to say like years have passed. I can't really talk about this without giving away spoilers. I'm not gonna give away spoilers, but one character makes reference to dealing with something for years. And I was like, a year? It's only been and to be fair, it's not even been a year because the book takes place in 2019 and it's not like it all happens at the beginning of 2019, it's all throughout the year. So now we're in 2020, so at most it's been a year. At least it's only been a couple of months. It kind of sounds like it could be the summer or maybe Easter again at the end chapter. And then it makes a reference to Callie, about how Callie is now 14. But then throughout the book they reference her as being like young, innocent, not really understanding things. No, let me work it out because there's 4 years between each girl. Evie was 21. I thought it said there was 4 years between each girl. I thought maybe Evie's not 20. I thought she was 21 though. I thought it was 4 years between each child. So then that means like 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 20. That's 6 years though between Tasha and Evie. I literally thought Karen said she had 4 years between each child. But that's 6. It won't matter. We'll just roll with the fact that Tasha was 15 in 2019. So that and apparently like Callie, if there's 4 years between them, that puts her as what? 14, 13, 12, 11. 11. Okay, we'll say 11. We'll go for the fact that she's 11, right? Because that was the point with Karen and her kids. She had like years between each one. I'm certain it said that there was 4 years between each of her kids, but I thought Evie was 21. She can't just be 19. Now I'm mad because I don't know. And I am reading the book again to figure it out. But anyway, but it makes a reference to Callie now being 14. And I was like, wait a minute. If there's meant to be 4 years between your kids, and Callie was, say, 11, because I don't think we ever got told Callie's age in the beginning, like in 2019, but the book says we're only in 2020 now. How's she only 14? Wait, what? Like, I was so confused because she's not a teenager in 2019. They make reference to her being young. So she'll either be 11, if there's 4 years between her and Tasha, Callie will be 11. Even if there's less, she'd still be about 12. Because they make reference to her not yet being a teenager, so she can't be any older than 12. And then the chapters go from 2019 to 2020 for the last chapter, but suddenly Callie's 14. And I was like, how? What? Unless that was a mistake and it wasn't supposed to be 2020, they just put 2020. But even still, they talk as if time has passed, but it's not. It's only been at least a year. At most a year, I mean. So, what? So that got me. That little bit at the end just kind of threw me, because I was like, wait, how is one of your characters suddenly about 3 years older and everybody's acting like a lot of time's gone by when we've only went from 2019 to 2020? Explain that to me, Joanne. Explain that. But apart from that, the book was great. And I enjoyed it to an extent, because it also made me very sad. But the ending sort of made me satisfied a little bit. Just a little bit, but not that much. So, yeah. So that was my review for The Guilty Friend. I'm a bit all over the place with this one because I didn't really know what to say. And I didn't really want to spoil the book for anybody that did want to read it. So, sorry about it. Thank you very much for watching this little video. And I shall see you in my next one, whenever that may be.